Welcome to another episode of the DJJAYERICAPOD podcast. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit that sub button. Y'all, I finally got a new soundboard, y'all. Listen, I didn't think it would happen, but it finally did. And I'm very much grateful for it because it took a lot of time for me to be able to get that together. And I want to say welcome to all my new subscribers, wherever you're listening, whether you're on Apple, Spotify, whether you're on YouTube, even TikTok. Thank you guys for your consistent support. Yeah, y'all, I know it's been a minute, but I had to get some things in order. Had a lot of things happening in my personal life and family, just a lot of tragedies and stuff happening. And I lost faith for a little while. I had to sit down in a corner and try to get my things and thoughts reorganized. I won't go into much detail about my personal life, but sometimes we all go through things. Like, we have goals and dreams and aspirations that we want to accomplish. And, it's crazy because there's so many different challenges that you go through in life that can just try to, knock you down, make you sad, or just derail you. And I had a moment where I just felt so derailed and just distressed. Okay. But, I just really try to have faith in God and just really put faith into myself and put the effort into everything. And whether it's personal life, my health, things of that nature, and just try to direct it in a positive direction because so many things had occurred over the month of November. Like, I felt like the month of November was the month of hell, like, for me, but and I don't even want to say the month of hell. It was just a lot of stuff going on. It felt like that way, but I made a turnaround, and I still consistently focused on the positive and focused on the goals and dreams and aspirations that I have for myself, and really just trying to redirect myself and my brand and what direction I wanted to go. And today I literally went and bought a new soundboard. It took a while. Real challenging to try to find the right soundboard. Took me years to find this soundboard. But finally, I have a soundboard and I'm able to sit here and talk to you guys. And I am very much grateful, This is episode 65 of my pod. Usually, and if you guys are new, my podcast is, of course, about entertainment, news, world news, and gossip and things of that nature. And I guess since this is the first episode of me being back, I'm just going to vibe out. I'm going to talk about what I feel like talking about, and go through a few things and just talk about a few topics that I noticed throughout the week that kind of I feel like is warrant for a discussion. And, including like the whole situation with Jelani Day, just talking about the things that's going on when it comes to like the robberies that happened in Los Angeles. I actually did short clips about that. I'm pretty sure you guys seen the short clips on that on my TikTok. And if you guys are listening on podcasts, on Apple Podcasts or whatever, I actually have my TikTok channel and it's like blowing up because I do a lot of short topic videos about things that go on. And I basically was like putting out news stories about several different things and tragedies that happened. One being Jacqueline Avant, the wife of music mogul Clarence Avant, being killed inside her home due to a robbery and a home invasion. It looked to appear to be a robbery, but it definitely was a home invasion. And this guy ended up killing her and shooting her. This woman was 81 years old. And Clarence Avant, I believe he's about 90, 91. And, it was a complete tragedy. And there's been a ton of burglaries that has happened throughout the Los Angeles area and California and stuff like that. I know you guys seen the Louis Vuitton store got hit up last month, and it was like a ton of people. They was like literally a smash and grab. Another thing that happened also that hit the news was this young woman. She was pushing her baby in a stroller. And they were just, just walking with her baby. She opened her gates or whatever, her security gates to her house and started to walk into her front yard. And then two guys in hoodies literally just jumped right into her yard and robbed her and took the baby bags and stole out of the baby stroller. And then they took off in like this white car. And there was also a robbery that happened at chickens. Was it? I think it was like a Wingstop in Los Angeles where a couple was sitting having, dinner. And it was a ton of people. Like, it was like a regular restaurant. Like when you go to Applebee's and people are like, 10 feet away from you at another table. It had to have been at least like a full house of people up in there and various families. And they decided to, go after the couple that was just sitting at a small table together. And, they got them for their Rolexes and took off, took their watches and left. And it's just, it's just been a lot of robberies happening in the Los Angeles area. So, after I seen the whole situation with Jacqueline Avon, and for most of you guys, I'm not sure, I have so many different listeners. And of course, every time I get on whatever platform it is, whether it's Spotify, wherever, I try to go into details of the stories. But basically, last week on December 1st, according to TMZ, this is my source, somebody broke into the home of Jacqueline Avon's and Clarence Avon's home. And basically this individual broke in and used AK-15 and shot and killed his wife. And he ran off. And after this, he decided to go to the next house over, which is about 6 miles down. He drove 6 miles down and decided to break into another house. And during this robbery, he shot himself in the foot with the same gun that he killed Mrs. Avon with. And of course, the paramedics and the police showed up and stuff. I'm not sure exactly who called the police. I don't know if he called for an ambulance because he shot himself through the foot. It looked like his foot was completely blown off. Looked like huge hole through his leg and foot. I don't know if it was somebody that called the cops because they seen him doing it, or if it's because he shot himself, or what the circumstances was around that. But they end up arresting him literally an hour, less than that, after he killed Clarence Avon's wife, and his name, the alleged suspect, and he just got actually fully booked for murder charges and of course robbery and everything else, and attempted murder as well. He just got booked for that. And from what I'm seeing, the guy, he was 29 years old. He looked like he may have been gang affiliated. Looked like, man, and another black person, just like sometimes I don't understand. Like it just hurts my feeling to see black people do stuff to other people in the community against their own people that's doing good and doing right for the world. Like, why would you want to do something, especially to the elderly? It just pisses me off. And, he's going to get his, and it's happening. His karma came right around because after he savagely murdered Miss Jacqueline Avon, he actually shot himself in the foot and he got arrested. So he's definitely getting his karma back. There's no doubt about that. But I just want to understand the actual motive behind it. I follow the blogs, I follow TMZ, but they haven't really put out a motive of why he decided to go into their house. I don't know if he knew that was Clarence Avon's home. I don't know, because he was young. He's 29. So I don't know if he knew who Clarence Avon and Jacqueline Avon was. I don't know, but I just don't get why he would do that. And from the research that I got is that he acted alone in this. I don't, some people are saying on TikTok, a lot of people, that video went crazy viral. When I put it out there, the news out there, they were like, is it a gang initiation? Stuff like that. I seen a couple of people from LA sitting there saying that they were from the Los Angeles area, from the West Coast and stuff like that. And they were saying that they thought it might have been gang affiliated or a gang initiation or whatever. But from what the police collected, it seemed as if he acted alone in this robbery and murder, home invasion. And she truly didn't deserve that. Like, I don't understand why he decided to pick their house, whether it was targeted or not. But when he seen this elderly woman come out and, to shoot her, and more research in regards to that, I have found out allegedly she was conscious when the paramedics arrived. So she did suffer through that bullet wound. She didn't immediately pass, according to reports that I received as well through media sources such as TMZ. So, it's just a terrible way for anyone to pass, but someone's grandmother, someone's mom, an 81-year-old woman. Like, that's just absolutely disgusting. And to know that this person who allegedly did this is 29, like, she's old enough to be your grandmother. Like, would you want your grandmother to suffer like that Would you like it if someone did it to your grandmother or to your mother or one of the women in your family that's elderly, an aunt? Like, for cases like this, sometimes I think like maybe the death penalty isn't a bad thing, you know, even though it don't exist. But in circumstances like this, it's just like, why? Why even spare life? Why even waste taxpayers' money, on someone like this, you know? And it's crazy because to just see the fact that he did all of this for basically nothing. You know, the Avons have to bury their mother, their grandmother. Clarence Avon has to bury his wife that he was with for nearly 60 years, probably over 60 years. They was married for 55 years, all because of a punk that was lazy. Instead of deciding to go out and work and build a business or do something productive with his life, he decided to be a bum and break into people's houses and be a coward and take people's lives. It's just really no justification for it, you know? And I reported on that. I just couldn't believe that news. It was just like, what? That was just so weird. Like the violence out here, this world is just crazy, y'all. It's crazy how things unfold. Like, just to see that, it just bothered me, you know? That's one of many different things that I covered during the week. And that particular story just got to me, you know, because, you know, somebody's grandmother, 81 years old, like, she lived a long life, you know, and she did so much for the community. Like, there's absolutely no reason for her to be taken out like that. She didn't deserve to go out that way, you know. It was a blessing for her to make it to see 81, but it's just messed up that that's how she had to transition. You know, she could have made it to see 100. You know, you took her life, and her life still mattered, and her life still matters, and it was completely unnecessary. Now, I'm going to move over to the next subject that I discussed also on TikTok in regards to another alleged like situation involving some guns and things in regards to Lil Wayne. So this was reported as well that allegedly Lil Wayne got into an altercation with one of his bodyguards. And this was supposed to have been about reportedly, they got into this altercation due to the bodyguard allegedly taking photos and leaking it to the media and giving it out, you know, selling it to blogs and stuff to the media, personal information and videos and stuff of Lil Wayne. And he reportedly confronted this bodyguard. Now, this bodyguard is the one that called the cops because he basically tried to claim that allegedly Lil Wayne just jumped off out of nowhere and decided to use his AR-15 against him. Well, you know, he brandished his gun, basically threatening him, telling him to get out the house or he would use his gun. And the bodyguard, instead of him leaving, he decided to go into the bathroom and go into Lil Wayne's bathroom to use the bathroom. Like, I feel like that's the worst time for you to be trying to use the restroom, especially in a awkward situation like that when you're arguing back and forth. And mind you, this also happened in, I think it was Hidden Hills, in his Hollywood home. This supposed to have happened. And in Los Angeles, where there has been so many, like I said, so many robberies, break-ins, a ton of people have been killed over there. A lot of stars, rappers and stuff, because of people breaking into their houses, robbing them, you know, home invasions, things of that nature. So it would make sense why Lil Wayne would bear arms. However, the only thing that's a problem is, you know, Lil Wayne just recently got pardoned because he was doing some time and Donald Trump pardoned him, which means I'm pretty sure he's not allowed to actually have ammunition or guns or anything like that based off his pardon. So it's just crazy. You know, that was like has it been like over a year and a half now? Maybe close to 2 years since he got pardoned. And it's just crazy that this report comes out. And basically what they were saying is that when the police arrived, Lil Wayne was already long gone. He had already left the property. But this guy is claiming that after he had left the bathroom, he booked it across to like a security tent or security hut that they had over there. And that's when he called 911. I think was it security gate? Like, I think that's what he said. And he called 911, basically saying that he felt like his life was in danger. Now, this is the crazy part, because usually, like, right, when it comes to hip hop artists and the cops being called, they always believe like the alleged victim, right? They think that Lil Wayne did it. That's what they would say, like, oh yeah, he definitely did it. Like, it's Lil Wayne. Like, you know, they would present that, right? Like, oh, of course he did it. You don't really know if he did it, right? So the police basically sat and listened to this guy's statements, and they basically was like, okay, some of the stuff that he's saying is not adding up. So they didn't even trust what the man was saying. They basically said that the story that he was telling, and basically he was trying to say he got into a physical altercation with Lil Wayne, like fists were thrown and they were all fighting and everything else. But when the cops were examining this bodyguard, he didn't have any bruises. He didn't look like he was in a scuffle. He looked perfectly fine. So that leads me to believe, like, what is going on in the camp of Lil Wayne? Like, you know, you can't really trust people, especially when you're a celebrity. It's like real tough to trust people, because some people, they have it out for these celebs. I mean, like, how many times do I have to go over the people that's been extorted, robbed, killed, you know, for money by people in their own camp, you know? But the cops even said that they didn't think that this altercation actually happened. And Lil Wayne wasn't home. He left when they arrived. So I'm not exactly sure how Lil Wayne made it out of the house, because it's not like he mentioned in the story, like, oh yeah, Lil Wayne, he drove past when I was calling the cops and he left. Like, he legit thought that he was still there. Where did he go? I know he didn't like fly out of his house. So if he is in a gated community, that means he would have to get into a car, or him and his crew and his entourage had to get in a car and drive towards the gates, and the gates will have to be open for him to leave. So it's just, the whole situation is suspect to me. You know, like I said, I have to report it. Like, I report the news, but I also come on this podcast to share my full thoughts on situations, you know, after I evaluate and think about it. You know, I'm just like, I don't think so. I just feel like this guy overstayed his welcome. If he was taking photos and stealing information to put out to the media, leaking it to the media, I feel like Lil Wayne has every right to be upset about that, because that's not what you're hired for. If you're a bodyguard, you're hired to protect a person. You're hired to make sure that no one harms the person. You're not supposed to become the threat to the person that you're supposed to protect. So if Lil Wayne decided to pull out a gun or whoever to protect himself, and you feel like this bodyguard, because his name is Lil Wayne, so I'm pretty sure he's a small guy, and I just feel like maybe the bodyguard tried to intimidate him, because I'm pretty sure his bodyguard is probably big as hell, you know, and his other bodyguards as well that's not really agreeing, you know what I mean? So it's all suspect. If I was Lil Wayne, I would just literally clear out my entire bodyguard team and fire everybody and start over new. That's how I would do it. And, you know, not speak about it. Let his attorneys handle any type of legalities and litigations or whatever that may happen after this whole situation. Speaking of litigations, Travis Scott said that, you know, he should not be involved in the litigations for these lawsuits involving his festival that happened in November, where at least, I want to say, 10 people died after being trampled. Other people died from dehydration. People were going into cardiac arrest. There was dead bodies all over the place at Astro World. This happened in Texas. I think they said Houston, Texas. This happened. It was a complete fiasco. Like, one of the worst, like, nightmares. I literally went directly on a couple of the pages of people and the fans, like a couple of fans that actually went to Astro World, and they were giving their testimonies on and you know, eyewitnesses accounts of what happened. And, you know, according to a couple of these people, one guy just came out, was like, it felt like we were in a concert in hell. Like, in a concert in hell. Like, and he was just saying that he would not support Travis Scott's brand anymore, because it made him open his eyes and made him realize that he doesn't even want to be a performer, because what he's seen scared him. And it made him decide to just, like, completely changed around what he wanted to do with his brand and his career after seeing that. And it's like, I personally feel like, the things that I've seen was very, for me personally, like this is just my thoughts, it seemed very spiritually demonic and disturbing. Seeing these bodies laying all over the place and people are just dead blue on the ground and basically nothing being done. The way that these people were running and trampling over folks like that, it was nothing. One of the most disturbing videos that I've seen, and it's so much that I've seen that I found very disturbing. One was very disturbing was just seeing how his staff, the staff of Travis Scott reacted in regards to trying to help people, because they did not help people, that needed help. And that bothered me. Because I just felt like if you're going to hire a team, make sure that they know what they're doing. Like, I had this one girl, okay, she jumped onto like a podium, like a stage where his cameraman was like recording the show. And all of a sudden you just see a ton of people turning, like you just see a ton of people turning up or all around her, right? So she goes over to the man and she's like, yo, there's people dying back here. And there's a boy that follows behind her trying to attest, like, yes, there are people currently dying, like literally beneath us. There's people like being pummeled over. People are dying. Like, we need your help. Like, help us, please. Like, he's begging for help and nothing's being done. Like, nothing is being done. And the guy is just standing there and he's just like, basically get away from me, basically trying to like swat her off, push her. He tried to push her off the stage. That's what it looked like to me. He didn't care. All he cared about was make sure he got Travis Scott's footage. Now, I understand that he's hired to do a job as a cameraman, but there's also a part of humanity that you're supposed to carry when you see people dropping dead and people going into cardiac arrest and stuff and people's begging for help. They're not just doing it for the hell of it. Of course, they want to see Travis Scott. Like, they just spent probably hundreds of thousands of dollars to come to this festival. Why would they want to go and bother you and tap you on the shoulder to, become friends? Like, cameraman, like, did that make any sense to you? Like, and I'm going to get back to the fact that, Travis Scott, he feels as if he's not supposed to, pay up when it comes to these lawsuits. He's asking for the judge to dismiss the lawsuits that's been placed against him. One particular lawsuit that TMZ mentioned was a young man who basically, he survived it, but he, had several injuries sustained due to him being at Astroworld, and he basically wanted to be compensated for that. And I guess Travis Scott decided to ask for a dismissal when it came to that lawsuit. But now is being reported that he's basically trying to dismiss all of the lawsuits because, listen, over the course of the month, from what I've read, there's huge numbers on this. You have people saying it's 46 lawsuits. Then you have people saying it's 200 and some odd lawsuits. Now, I believe there's over 246 lawsuits. And from what I researched, it's equating to over $1 billion these people are trying to sue for. And this isn't just like $1 billion for one case. This is multiple cases going against him, basically. And they're requesting money, like, and it's just getting crazy. It's a lot of, was it 246 people in over 46 lawsuits? I think that's what that was. But yeah, he's basically asking for a dismissal on that and trying to protect his entities, his brands. There's a Cactus Jack and all of his other LLCs that he has involved in that. He's trying to use that to damage control and protect his brand because he stepped in a lot of shit, and people are saying, like, is it Travis Scott's fault? A lot of people, I'm realizing now, when it first happened, everyone was, like, bashing Travis Scott because of his apology that he gave. And everyone's like, it's a terrible apology. Like, ain't nobody, like, feeling what he's saying right now. Basically, like, the way that you present it, it's just, like, it doesn't seem genuine. It just seems disingenuous. You on IG Live just rubbing your face, being weird and awkward, like, it's like he don't never want to hold his head up. I don't know if that's like a part of his gimmick to like act like he just can't look at people, but it's real weird. It's like Like, I like to look at my entertainers and see their face. He's like a person, he's like always looking down at the ground. Like when you take pictures, he doesn't look up. It's just real weird for me. So I never got into his brand because the way that he presents his brand is just odd to me. But I guess that's for the younger kids. You know, I just turned 30, so I guess I'm a little older now. I mean, I'm not an old lady, but I'm grown. You feel me? So anyway, so yeah, so they filed the lawsuit. Now I personally, like I said, I feel like it was very irresponsible for him and his team to move forward with this event, because after I did research, allegedly, I have to say allegedly, according to my research, the fire department and several people warned them that there may be a problem, that this may be an issue. People might, you know, have their lives in danger, and, you know, it might be pushing past the, you know, what they call it, fire limit or whatever you call it, fire hazard limit or whatever. But they decided to still move forward with this event. And this was the outcome. Like, people think because the event was outdoors that it's safer. And actually, that's more dangerous because you are standing on the ground. Like, you know, the ground could just give in at any time. Like, people could just step into a pothole and their legs get stuck and they could break their ankle. It's not like in an arena where you're able to just like, okay, you're seat 1, you're seat 2, you're seat 3, you sit here, you sit here. That's a huge, like literally an outside festival park. Like, it was a amusement park that was built. So it's kids there, and most of the people that's there are like still not matured in their mind. So they're not thinking like adults saying, okay, let's separate, let's do this, and this. These are kids that's in their teens. I mean, the youngest victim was 9 years old. So these are kids, you know, 9-year-olds all the way up to probably in their 30, you know what I mean? But I mean, they're probably in their early 20s, like probably teenagers and college students and stuff that's not thinking about the safety of other people. They're thinking about just turning up, you know, acting crazy and just having a good time. They're not thinking about their fellow man. And I get it. People could say that it's the audience's fault. However, this is his event, and you know, Travis owns all of these LLCs. He owns this festival. This is his festival. You know, he's the headliner, and he's the one that puts all the acts and everything else together. So he is hands-on, you know, completely when it comes to creating his brand and making his festival. So I feel like he should take some accountability for it because he's the boss. And when you're the boss of something, you have to take accountability when your team fails or your team makes bad choices. And unfortunately, it's falling on his head where now his companies and businesses are being sued for over $1 billion. You know, I mean, I feel like he can learn from this. I don't think his career is going to be completely diminished from this situation. I mean, I already see a ton of fans open to forgiving him who have already forgave him and don't feel like he's responsible for any of this, you know? And I mean, he may not be responsible 100%, but he has to take some accountability for it. And the thing that kind of made me feel away was the fact that, you know, he offered to pay for the people's funeral, their kids' funerals, and they declined because they're in the middle of a lawsuit. And that could probably hurt their lawsuit if they're accepting money from him in the middle of litigations and them trying to sue him for the deaths of their children and their family members and stuff. So I'm pretty sure that's why they declined on the money. However, you know, money also can't bring these people back. And I guess, you know, with him offering the money and these people declining, now he's returning back with answering with this request for a dismissal from these lawsuits. It just doesn't look good. It don't look good. Like, I feel like, this is going to forever affect his career. However, what did Travis Scott got? Like damn near 100 million followers on Instagram. His career will be able to recover, you know? He'll be able to recover. I mean, I'm pretty sure it will be able to. But I feel like, you know, it's maybe next year or so, you know, he probably not do Astroworld. But I give it like maybe a year or two. He probably will be able to get back in business and do these festivals, but it's going to have to be like 10 times better. And maybe he shouldn't have the performances outdoors. Maybe it should be indoors. Maybe he should have an amusement park outside and then have the actual events inside so people can decide what direction they want to go. Because you got people that want to ride rides, and then you got people that want to do the concert, and all those people meshing together. There's 50,000 people, they said, showed up there. 50,000 people. Like, you know, like, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And that's not enough space for the amount of capacity of people that showed up there. Especially in Texas, when I know it's very, very hot. Even if this happened in November, it's probably very hot because it's Texas. Like, Texas is that hot state, you know? It's right down south, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, with his whole situation, I just feel like he should have did a better job when it came to directing and organizing this entire thing before it happened. I seen people who were there testify, and they were basically saying that they gave their own, like, you know, eyewitnesses accounts and even experiences there. This one black girl, I seen her on YouTube, and she was talking about how they hired her to be a security guard and how allegedly the security guards were not even doing their job to make sure everybody was staying organized and no one was being trampled. They were focused on catching the show. So they were just letting anybody in, letting anybody do anything. She said that they were smoking, doing drugs, getting high and stuff, and trying to make it seem like they were helping people, but they were not. Then there was another woman who came out and was like, she is a registered nurse, and it was like people that were supposed to be EMTs and people that were supposed to be hired for medical reasons that didn't know how to resuscitate people. Like, how do you not know how to do CPR and you're supposed to be a medic? Like, this does not make any sense. Like, and that's what I'm saying why this is Travis' fault, because if you're going to hire these people to basically run your event in case of an emergency, you need to make sure that you check do a full, thorough background check on these people. Make sure that they are, you know, fully equipped for this, you know. And I don't know who Travis Scott's manager is. I don't know. Maybe it falls on the manager. Maybe they're the ones that it will fall on. But you can't just be hiring people who's not experienced and not equipped for what they're doing. You talking about 50,000 people's lives in your hands, and you don't have enough medical crew there. You don't have enough people the people that are there for medical reasons to be part of the medical crew doesn't even know allegedly how to do CPR to revive people. Like, come on now. This all could have been prevented. You know, people dying from, and then the thing, you know, it was one victim, and it was so sad because she passed away in the hospital. She had was brain dead, but do you know what did her over? And I feel like they need to sue him. Was the medic was carrying her body, and her unconscious body on one of those carts or whatever, and they were carrying her off, and her body fell. Like, they didn't even focus on making sure that they carried her body out properly. It was so disrupting to see that video. Like, her body fell and hit the concrete after she was already passed out, basically, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that last hit to the ground is what really did her in. I don't think it was just her collapsing. It was the negligence of the medics that was carrying her body over the crowd. They were in this point, they were at the gate where there was nobody to carry her over anymore. And they dropped her body like it was a rag doll. It was just like she fell and it was like no life left in her. You know what I mean? It was really doomsday, like literally. And I just feel like, yes, they should sue. Like, just seeing that video alone, I'm just like, yes, sue the pants off of these people. Like, really sue them. Like, you know, I don't know, y'all. But y'all can share your thoughts on that situation. Me personally, like I said before, I feel like it's Travis Scott's job to make sure he's hiring the proper people. If he's the boss and this is his brand, he needs to make sure that this stuff is in order, you know. In other news, we got Drake basically deciding to withdraw his 2 Grammy nominations that he received. So he received like a Grammy nomination for, like, I think it was Best Rap Album, of course, for his album, and then a Best Rap Collaboration nomination. And he decided to withdraw from that for the 2022 upcoming Grammy Awards. He got nominated, and of course, they're going to do the presentation next year, probably in January or February. He decided to withdraw. Now, a lot of people trying to figure out, like, why would he withdraw from the Grammys? And I mean, from my research, Drake has had a real tumultuous relationship when it came to the Grammy committee and how they operated. And particularly last year when The Weeknd dropped his album, they didn't nominate him for any awards. And that really bothered Drake. And Drake went on social media and basically denounced the Grammys and basically saying, I was pretty sure that, I'm just ad-libbing, but basically saying that he thought that The Weeknd would be a shoo-in to be nominated for several Grammy Awards, and it didn't happen. And he basically was saying that it was time for us to come up with something new that can cater to the people of this generation, peers and things of that nature, that's not basically based off of prejudice. And, you know, Drake is basically trying to say, you know, there's some prejudice going on in the Grammy committee and the Recording Academy, and, you know, he's not here for it. And he was saying that he wasn't going to the Grammys anymore, but this is just more action to the words that he stated, because we always have celebs that say, oh, let's protest the Oscars. And then like a year later, they're chilling at the Oscars. They protest that one Oscar year, and then they still chilling in the audience the next year. And it's like, okay, well, was anything changed? Like, well, what is, they're still treating you the same. So what was the point of doing it last year and not doing it this year? Like, stick to your words. Like, but they show up when they get nominated, right? You can complain about not getting nominated. You get nominated, you still show up. I wouldn't show up, and that's what Drake did. He complained about The Weeknd not being nominated. He complained about it, and other people not getting their just due. I mean, and really think about a correlation outside of what I said of him talking about The Weeknd, but even his label mate, like Nicki Minaj, I'm pretty sure he's seen, over the past decade and a half, how the Recording Academy treated her career. I just don't understand how Nicki Minaj never received a Grammy. And no disrespect to Cardi B. I like Cardi B's music. Like, I feel like her album was fantastic. She deserved her awards. But how is it that Cardi B only had like a career for like literally a year and she won a Grammy for Best Rap Album? But Nicki Minaj has been putting out this work for almost, she's hitting that 20-year mark real soon. Like in the next 5 years, she'll be at like 20 years, like pushing, from the streets up. And they never gave her Grammy Award. I'm pretty sure she got nominated, but she never received a Grammy Award. And I just don't understand it. And I did research, and it basically was saying that Nicki Minaj, had some squabbles with the people behind the scenes at the Grammys and issues allegedly with them, which led to them basically blackballing her and preventing her from being awarded when she deserved her awards, But I'm pretty sure Drake was witness and attest to that, and he just wasn't here for it. He's probably just fed up. He's probably fed up with how they do all the people, even Beyonce. Like, the one year they robbed Beyonce of Album of the Year, and I think they gave it to Adele, and Adele was like, this award should go to Beyonce or whatever. Like, it's just like, come on, Grammys. Like, quit playing with people. Like, I'm not saying because somebody is black, they deserve to win. But I am also saying that at least if you're going to be funny with it, at least nominate the people that should be nominated. Don't be so obvious about you purposely like trying to like dilute the Grammys and also stop performers from really getting what's theirs that truly deserve it. It's just, we could call it discrimination. People are going to say it's discrimination, it's racism going on. And I believe it could possibly be both, But, I mean, if an artist is better, and no matter what the skin color is, if they win, it's fair and square. However, it's just very suspect, and the Grammys have had a lot of suspect behavior the last 20 years or so. So I just, in particular the last 10 years, I don't know what the tea is with that, but people have been complaining about it. And that's basically the reason why, for me, I think Drake actually decided to no longer, accept that nomination and withdraw himself. And I feel like that's his right. And he should have did it to, be about the action, not just talk about it, be about it. And that's what he did. He went and was about it. And he actually did action instead of just words. So people say stuff, but they don't really be meaning it. You know what I mean? They don't really mean it. They talk about it, but they really don't be about it. Another thing that happened, man, did y'all see the verses with Bone Thugs and Harmony and 3 6 Mafia? Man, I don't know what was going on with Busy Bone, but he was having a bad night. So prior to the event, Busy Bone went on social media on Instagram and basically put out a post saying that, and I'm just, like I said, I'm ad-libbing. 3 6 Mafia group is based off of sadistic values and that they worship the devil and they should denounce Satan when they get on stage at the versus battle. So, it was just a lot of turmoil and tension building before they went to the actual event. And then when they got there, the guys from 3 6 Mafia, I'm pretty sure they seen his post on social media. They come out and they start going after him like, oh, this, and this, while he's performing and heckling him. Busy Bone wasn't feeling that, So he called him out. He was basically telling him, like, look, what we not going to be doing, is you sitting here mocking me while I'm performing. And then that's when, I believe Juicy J screaming, suck my dick. I can say dick. Oh, yeah, this is my show. I forgot it's unedited. Suck my dick. That's what he said. And then you hear Gangsta Boo say that he a hater. And then next thing you know, Actually, people is just fighting, okay? He started throwing bottles first. Like, Busy Bone started throwing the bottles. Then people start swinging hands. And then it's just a crowd of dudes fighting, just being hood, giving me flashbacks to the Source Awards of 1995 or 1996. It was just completely ghetto. And they end up putting the dang verses on pause, like a pause commercial saying, "We'll be right back shortly." Like, while they were sitting there trying to stop the little rioting and fighting going on. And then eventually they came back on, And I guess Busy Bones, whatever, he was escorted out, but he ended up coming back and apologizing for his behavior and stuff. And then they was able to finish it out. But it was just so unnecessary. It was like, was it really necessary to get like that? And then afterwards, he did like, he went on IG Live and he basically was saying that, this is just hip hop. This is how hip hop is. And he didn't want it to be all, like mushy or whatever. He wanted it to be something competitive or something for people to like really be entertained by and embrace hip hop for what hip hop is and what hip hop does and stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay, I guess so. Like we respect y'all whether y'all fighting or not. Like, you don't gotta like fight each other. Y'all don't have to like curse each other out. Y'all don't have to try to harm one another. Like, we have enough rappers being shot and killed. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure I personally didn't really care for that. It was unnecessary. I feel like everybody should be able to respect each other without it turning into a hot ghetto mess, a shootout, and a fight. Like, and you too old. Like, these guys are almost 50 years old. Like, there's no reason for them to be behaving like that on stage. Like, I get it. You could hype it. Maybe they wanted more publicity from their verses, and they did it. And, because he said that he wants to hype more people up about it. But, man, it is what it is. It is what it is. And then in other news outside of that, so Jussie Smollett is currently on trial. And, of course, they're basically charging him for basically allegedly staging his attack. Remember back in 2019, in January 2019, basically Jussie Smollett was basically saying that he was a victim of a hate crime, and two Trump supporters, like MAGA had Trump supporters, attacked him and was calling him homophobic slurs, and he was basically saying that he was being attacked for his sexuality and all of these different things. And basically it came out that allegedly he falsified all this information, and the guys who were arrested and they had charged, but basically came out and was like, wait, we're friends with Jussie. This is all set up, gone wrong. And basically Jussie set this all up because he wanted to build relevancy back on his brand and his career. But we didn't do it in a way where it wasn't planned. This whole thing was staged. So of course during the attack, Jussie claimed that, of course he was hit, a noose was put around his neck. People threw bleach on him, was calling him the F word and homophobic slurs and saying they had MAGA hats and all this other stuff. He was attacked outside of Chicago subway. And, people at first, they believed it because we were living in a time where everyone is just so gung-ho crazy about this whole Trump era and him being the president, him trying to be president, and there's a lot of racial tension going on, Black Lives Matter and everything else. It was just a dark time. The pandemic had started. The pandemic ain't started like in 2019, but it was the beginning of like Black Lives Matter and basically the whole MAGA situation. This is right before the pandemic happened in 2020, and I guess he was trying to capitalize off of that allegedly. I guess because here we are. Now he's in court because he allegedly staged this whole thing. And then he admitted during a testimony that he was involved in a sexual relationship with one of the brothers that attacked him. I guess they had met at a bathe house in Chicago, and Jussie said that he and his brother was basically getting high, taking cocaine. One of the Sandero brothers, he was getting high, taking cocaine with him. They were having sexual encounters with each other at the bathe house. They were basically, it sounds like friends with benefits to me. And now they want to stump you out and beat you down. Like, I just don't feel like he's going to win this situation. I don't feel like he's about to win this case. There's more things coming out as well about this case that had me like, things that make you go, like for real, because like now we talking about Don Lemon. He also admitted that Don Lemon had tipped him off that the Chicago police didn't believe his story, which is something that he should not be doing because he's a news anchor. Of course, when you're a news anchor, you're privy to exclusive information because you have to make reports about it and things of that nature. And there's certain things that you can report on, some things they don't want you to report on, even if you find it out. So he allegedly found that out, and he texted Jussie Smollett. He even admitted that he can't really talk much about it. He said that he's friends with Jussie Smollett, and he felt like he was disappointed in him for allegedly lying about the attack. But now it's like, dude, Don Lemon lose his job because the other news anchor, was it Chris Cuomo? What is it? Because I can't mix it up with Andrew Cuomo, Governor Cuomo, the Cuomo brothers, whatever. The guy that was on CNN, he just got fired because he was tipping, getting information and stuff like that about people who was claiming that his brother was allegedly sexually assaulting him. So he was trying to collect information, but using his job at CNN to get information and go through emails and stuff like that. So he just got fired. Now, if he got fired, technically what Don Lemon is similar to the same thing. He basically went and tampered into an investigation by tipping off, the alleged culprit or suspect or whatever Jussie Smollett is right now, and telling him, like, look, the Chicago PD is on your A. I know because I went through personal files, stuff like that. They give me information because I'm a news anchor. I'm just trying to tell you that they know that you lying. And then that made Jussie Smollett not hand over his phone and other things. Another thing that they said also in the trial is that Jussie Smollett had two different testimonies and statements when it came to how he was set up when the cops was near him. He basically was saying, first he said that he had the noose around his neck the entire time when the cops arrived, but then he also made a statement saying that he had the noose around his neck, then he took the noose off, and then he put the noose around his neck again once the cops arrived. So it was like, it's discrepancy in regards to what he said, and it's not that long ago for him to forget exactly what happened. If you allegedly were attacked like that, you're going to remember like everything. You're going to remember the details because it's so traumatic that you can't even function. Like, you just like, damn, I can't believe this happened to me. Like, how can I do this and this? And you're not being able to decipher whether you left the noose on or took the noose off and put it back on. It's just a bit confusing, and it's not really adding up. Then on top of that, it's photos that just got leaked with him and the Alcedero brothers just chilling at bars and stuff, taking pictures. And this is literally like a few days before this alleged attack happened. So I'm just trying to understand, like, how do you go from having sex with one of the brothers and having drug-induced sex parties and stuff like that with these dudes down to The Wire, and literally the next day all of a sudden they got MAGA hats and they're attacking you. You're not even going to notice that it's them, right? You were sexually intimate with one of them. You're hanging out with them closely. Just evaluating the whole situation. Most people, like, listen, I'm going to tell you how I know that I feel like personally, allegedly, he's BSing and this was just a publicity stunt, because we live in an era where we have to wear face masks. This is before we had no choice but to wear, this is before we didn't have to wear face masks in 2019. This happened in January. Now, in this era of us having to wear face masks and stuff like that, for the most part, I relatively have been able to identify people that I've known with their face masks on that I haven't seen in a while that can walk past me and I'm like, yo, hey girl, what's up? And they can see it's me too, right? Because there's other things in which you identify a person in their physicalities, whether it be their body shape, their eyes, their facial hair, their, that their hair color, their height, their weight, their form as a human being, their being, for you to be able to say, okay, even with you covering your mouth, I can tell it's you because I know how you actually look. I know your presence. I know how you feel. So for Jussie Smollett to say, oh, I don't know who did it, like, he was better off saying, oh, I know who did it. My old friends, they robbed me, they beat me up, they called me these homophobic slurs. If he would have outright went that way, but that would have been throwing him under the bus, right? So he didn't want to throw them under the bus. So why wouldn't he want to throw them under the bus if they attacked them, whether they hung out or not? If somebody attacked you and you want to be served with justice and you want to be protected from these people, whether you was having affairs with them or not, you're going to say, yo, I want protection. People get protections on their ex-spouses all the time. So I'm just trying to understand, it's just not looking good. It's just not looking good. And then another part of the trial too that got me was the fact that the prosecutor, when he was doing cross-examining Jussie Smollett, he was basically using the N-word, and Jussie was like, you need to stop. He was saying Nigga in full formation, like just saying it outright throughout the entire cross-examination while he was reading these text messages between him and the brothers that allegedly attacked him. And Jussie was like, okay, I just feel like you getting too happy with using the N-word or whatever. And basically told him, to chill on that or whatever. And that's when he reportedly gave Jussie Smollett the text messages so he can read it out loud instead, because he felt like it was sus. But check this out. This dude, Dan Webb, the prosecutor, not only did he end it, this is just on like Tuesday. On Wednesday, this dude is gonna have the nerve to do the final statements to the jury and basically say that Jussie Smollett monkeyed around with the rope. Now, people already know the reference when it comes to black people being called monkeys, being compared to apes and stuff like that, the racial prejudice that's associated with that, and the disgustingness that goes with that. And this guy literally used his closing statement and said that Jussie was monkeying around, basically trying to, persuade the jurors in his direction. But I feel like the jurors probably, they were saying that allegedly the jurors were shaking their heads in disgust, It just looked weird. His family, Jussie Smollett's family, was shaking their heads in disgust. Like, you go from using the N-word consistently and being happy about it to allegedly now you're sitting there saying that he monkeyed around. Now, they're in deliberations right now. We don't know if he's going to be found guilty or not. But the worst part is, if he is found guilty, he's facing a lot of time, okay? He is facing several years in prison for this whole situation. And it's like, was it really worth it? Was it really worth it? If you really staged this, Jussie, was it worth it? Like, it's not worth it. It really wasn't worth it at all. Like, I don't understand. Like, I know Empire was ending around the time that all of this happened. You feel me? And maybe he felt like he had no other choice but to say the stuff that he said and do the stuff that he did to basically push his career. But he's such a talented, he comes from a very talented family. He's a Smallett. Like, I mean, I watched his sister journey on Smallett on TV growing up on several movies, Eased by You, just a talented group of people. So I don't understand why he would feel like he wasn't good enough for him to find more jobs in his career. And at the time, he still had Lee Daniels, who was still like one of the biggest producers out there at that time, backing him in his career. So, or directors and writers, whatever, at the time, backing his career. So I just don't feel like, I just don't understand why he felt like this. And currently, if you guys don't know what the actual full charges is, he's basically facing 6 disorderly conduct charges. That's what the charges is, for falsifying police reports. And those are the allegations that's up against him right now. So they're basically trying to charge him for, disorderly conduct charges and, of course, falsifying police reports in regards to an incident. So, I mean, if he's found guilty, they're saying he could face years in prison. Now, do Jussie Smollett really deserve, like, years in prison for this? Who really got hurt in the process of this? I mean, I know that they ran through Chicago's taxpayer money and stuff like that. But honestly, how Chicago is over there for the most part, people it's just crazy over there. You feel me? I think they need to let him go, because I'm pretty sure there's people running around there, and I know it's people running around there that done did way worse than what he done did. He ain't hurt nobody but himself, his career. That's about it. What else did he hurt? He didn't hurt nobody else. He just hurt his career. I don't feel like he should be in jail. You know what I mean? I just feel like maybe he should be fined. If anything, a year probation, but him just being completely locked up. No, I just don't. I don't feel like he should be locked up in jail for that. I just feel like that's stupid. And if anything, if they're going to put him in jail, give him a week, 30 days, a day, but nothing substantial. Like, I mean, geez, give me a break. But they're in deliberations. They're saying that by tomorrow, which is going to be Thursday, on the 9th, we should know whether Jussie Smollett is guilty or not. Dun, dun, dun. Like, but I want to know y'all thoughts if you guys are watching this, wherever you're watching this. Share your thoughts below in regards to this whole situation with Jussie Smollett and this entire trial. You know, it's just definitely crazy, y'all. It definitely gets crazy with this whole trial. You know, from that allegedly racist prosecutor. I'm going to say allegedly because it just comes off racist for him to just continuously use the N-word like that over and over again and be happy about it. You know, even down to him basically saying that Jussie Smollett was monkeying around with the noose. Like, you know, it just racist undertones, knowing that this is a case of alleged racial discrimination. I don't know if that's how he's trying to push the narrative, but it's just like, okay. In other news, we seen Wendy Williams walking last week. She walked out of I believe it was a wellness center. And, you know, she got in a car. She had assistants with her, bringing her to the car. And one of the paparazzis asked Wendy Williams, how was she doing? And she said she's doing fabulous. You know, she sounded like she was conscious and she knew what was going on. You know, prior to reports, people were saying allegedly Wendy Williams had dementia or something going on. And I was very concerned. I know a lot of people are happy because of Wendy's demise, but I'm never happy about someone having bad health, and especially something as serious as dementia, because with a disease like that, you lose who you are, you lose your being, you know? And I just don't feel like anybody deserved it. Wendy Williams has had a tough few years, especially with her divorce, her health issues, the Graves' disease, thyroid issues, you know, just a lot of different things she had going on. And then, of course, her mom passed last year. You know, her husband has left her and got a divorce, and allegedly he had a side baby on her. You know, it's just a lot that Wendy Williams has been experiencing, and to take such serious losses, it really affects people. You know, we've had several people that has been on the Wendy Williams show, because Wendy Williams has not been hosting her show this entire season. And, you know, people like Sherri Shepherd has come on the show. A lot of people like Sherri Shepherd. They saying that the ratings went through the roof with Sherri Shepherd, and that the Wendy Williams show ratings since she's been gone actually increased, which is interesting. It's like, how is it increasing? Is it because the people that they're choosing is helping to increase the ratings? How does that work? How does your star of the show leave and then the ratings go up? I don't know. But I guess it's what they need, right? Because that'll make it so Wendy Williams' show can continue without her being there. She can still make her money, and everybody else that's there is guesting and helping is going to get paid, you know, guest hosting and helping is going to get paid. So, you know, it's a beneficial situation. Now, however, people are hoping, because we seen Wendy Williams walking outside and saying Wendy's doing fabulous, this, and this. And this was in Miami, they seen her, that we thought Wendy Williams was basically saying, I'm coming back. I'm about to be back on this mic. I'm about to be back talking to y'all. But it don't look that way. Okay. She made an actual post on social media letting everybody know that the guest hosting is going to continue into next year in 2022 in January. And they had a full freaking lineup, you know, more of Sherri Shepherd and some other people is supposed to be coming on here and guest hosting. And it's like, when is we going to get Wendy back? I mean, I really hope she does not have like dementia, like on some real stuff. Like, I just want Wendy Williams to come back. Like, really. I mean, they're saying Fat Joe and Remy Ma supposed to be hosting, and then Sherri Shepherd is supposed to be hosting. And this is for January, you know. A couple other people supposed to be hosting, and I just prefer Wendy Williams. Like, I actually want to hear Wendy Williams. Like, I want to hear her talk. Like, I get tired of hearing all these other people on her show. It's just not the same without her pizzazz and without her shadiness. It's just not the same. And I've been a tea sipper since, before she even got her actual TV show. I actually learned about Wendy Williams through VH1 on the Wendy Williams Experience. And I watched that and I thought she was hilarious because, you know, I'm from New York, but I'm from upstate New York. So I wasn't getting Hot 97 or wherever else she was doing her radio work at when she was in New York. So I got exposed to Wendy Williams back when, you know, I was a kid. Going on VH1, and the Wendy Williams Experience popped on, and Charlamagne was there at the time. You know, he was there as her backup or sidekick or whatever. Charlamagne came a long way. It's weird how you see how the tables turn. Like, you never know what people will land in their career, because Charlamagne started off as just a sidekick of Wendy Williams, and it's like now seeing where Wendy Williams is and seeing that Charlamagne's basically got on TV, got his own show, Wendy Williams off TV right now, going through health issues. It's just crazy how tables turn in life, and then, you know, it's interesting, you know. But I'm definitely hoping that Wendy Williams is able to return, you know, and even if she can't return, we just want Wendy alive, right? Healthy, recovering. And I hope that she does not have any serious, irreversible illnesses to add on to what she already has going on, you know? Another serious news, Nick Cannon announced that his 5-month-old son, Zen Scott Cannon, passed away over the weekend, and he made an announcement on his show, the Nick Cannon Show. Now, people are saying Nick Cannon is supposed to replace Wendy Williams, but that's a different story for a different day. So, just want to send out my condolences. Of course, you know, Nick Cannon had 4 kids in the past 6 months, and Zen was the last of the 4 kids. So he has 7 altogether, but he was the last of the 4 kids that was birthed within the past 6 months. And he had this child with a model. I believe her name was Alicia. And basically the baby was sickly. He had fluid in his brain, and they ended up finding a malignant brain tumor. And unfortunately, the baby passed away from it. So, you know, definitely sending my condolences out to Nick Cannon. Can't imagine losing a kid. You know, as parents, it's just terrible. I've had experiences in my own family, so I definitely feel for him. And I'm sending out prayers out to the mother of this baby, because, you know, of course, we're going to send out prayers to Nick Cannon because he's famous and stuff, but also send out prayers to the mother as well that birthed this child as well, and is going through it, you know, alone. So hopefully, you know, all we can do is just send prayers out. You know, Nick Cannon actually came back on his show today after he did the announcement and, you know, gave out prayers and stuff. So, you know, definitely just send our prayers to the Cannon family and all his siblings, because it's hard to lose a sibling, especially a baby. It's absolutely heartbreaking. I wouldn't wish that on anybody at all. Other things I want to talk about. Stevie J and Faith Evans. Look. This whole situation between Stevie J and Faith Evans is divorce, this pending divorce, not getting divorced. She cheated on me, so I'm going to blast her on social media. You know, now I want spousal support, even though I just went on social media and said that she didn't cheat on me and that I love my wife. It just seems like so much toxicity. The toxicity, the mess all over the place, baby. It's just like, okay, what are we doing? Why and how? So basically, if you guys haven't been following, and I had to say allegedly, everything I state on my show is alleged. Basically, Stevie J, of course, married Faith Evans. Of course, they've been together for 3 years, and as of the past week or 2 weeks or so, I think it was like last month, Stevie J filed for a divorce on Faith Evans. Now, mind you, a year prior, Faith Evans was actually arrested for allegedly physically attacking Stevie J, and she was arrested under domestic violence charges and domestic dispute, whatever, and she was released under bail, and, you know, that situation went away. Then Stevie J just came out of the sky, filed for divorce on Faith Evans. Then everyone's like, okay, they're breaking up. Next thing you know, Faith Evans has like videotapes of her and Stevie J on the beach while he's doing backflips, making it look like they're getting their relationship back in order and everything is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Then all of a sudden, a video drops, Stevie J cursing out Faith Evans about allegedly having an affair on him, bringing men into the home and sleeping on him and cheating on him and things of that nature. And Faith Evans is in bed, just stressed out. He's calling her name, calling her bitches, all types of stuff, just dogging her, okay? Just dogging her on camera. Then Stevie J comes out and say, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for the way that I treated my wife. I love her. She never cheated on me. I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that. I apologize to her family. This, and this. Then in the same breath, okay, I mean, you can apologize and still move forward with your divorce, but to add insult to injury, you only been married to this woman for like literally 3 years, and you are asking the judge now, allegedly Stevie J, for spousal support. Like, what exactly do you need spousal support for? Like, what did y'all build in 3 years? These people are literally like 45, almost 50 years old. Like, what did he do for Faith Evans' career? I'm trying to understand. If anything, Faith Evans did something for his career. Like, I don't understand why he would feel like he deserves spousal support. And then he requested spousal support, which is so weird. We hear about that in the media. And then in the same breath, we have Faith Evans chilling on TMZ, talking about her being on The Masked Singer and singing as a skunk and being unveiled. But then in the same breath, she says that Stevie J was chilling in her house right then and there. But in the news, they're saying that he just filed for a divorce and he wants spousal support from you. So, like, look, it just seems like it's just toxicity, confusion going on. And then we get another report, according to The Blast, this is all from The Blast, that basically Faith Evans is basically asking the judge to dismiss the request for spousal support and saying that she does not want to move forward with paying that because they broke up. Like, listen, the timelines... Listen, I gotta go down. What is it? Because it's a huge timeline difference into when they broke up. Like, Stevie J is saying that they broke up in like October, but according to the information here on The Blast, they're saying that allegedly Faith Evans is saying that they broke up probably like a year prior. Like, so it's just a bit confusing because it's like, I mean, and I'm not even trying to jump on Stevie J's side or anything like that, but literally you were just on TMZ saying that Stevie J was chilling in the house, even though she didn't really say anything, you know what I mean? Like saying that they stopped dealing with each other, whatever. But she said that he was chilling with her in the house, you know, and she said she don't like to talk about her personal business on social media. To the world publicly because she stopped that in the 90s. But it's a bit confusing if y'all getting a divorce. Why is he chilling in your house and he's trying to take your money right now? Why would he? Wow, well, y'all don't have kids together. I just don't understand this fiasco and this disastrous marriage. Like, my thing is, if you are saying, because okay, this is what it says on here. According to Faith legal filing, the couple allegedly separated May 29th, 2020, and just 2 years and 2 months after they got married. Now, Stevie J is claiming that the couple officially broke up October 19th, 2021. So, you know, which is a year and a half difference. Like that. So it's like, from what we're seeing on social media, it looked like they're still together. I just feel like Faith Evans bit off more than she could chew. And I don't think this marriage was a good idea. From what I'm seeing, just as, you know, an onlooker, you know, sharing my thoughts, I just feel like Stevie J was basically using her to capitalize and build his brand, and that he didn't really love her. I think he loved the idea of her and what her brand could do for his brand. But I personally don't think he really loved that lady, because if you loved her, after only she's saying y'all was only together for 2 years and 2 months. That's when y'all broke up, 2 years and 2 months, right? So after 2 years and 2 months on her side, what exactly do you build in a marriage? That's still considered being newlyweds. So what are you entitled to? Faith Evans' career is like over 20 some odd years old, like at least 26, 27 years old. So like, what exactly were you going to benefit from? Like, what did you do for her career? I haven't heard any big hits from Faith Evans over the past 3 years since y'all been together. I haven't seen her, like, I think I seen her on like one award show, probably. I haven't really seen her working. And up until when she was on The Masked Singer, and she was the skunk that she just unveiled this past week. I don't know what Stevie J has done for her career for him to warrant that he deserves 50% of her money or spousal support. Like, if you've seen that video that's all over the web, I mean, I'm not trying to be weird about it, but it's like he was dogging her, embarrassing her, and they only been together for 3 years. Like, what exactly did he contribute? I feel like the only money he should be making is them bad boy checks for the music that he produced that she may have been singing on when they recorded it 20 years ago. Like, I don't think he should be getting paid for anything that he didn't work for. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. And I hope that the judge doesn't grant it, because, like, why? You know, it's kind of like he's shooting himself in the own foot, because he's like saying, oh yeah, she didn't cheat on me. I love her. I'm sorry for causing her pain. But even when I'm divorced, I'm still going to get this money. I'm still going to get this bag. I just feel like he's pimping his wife out at this point, y'all. That's just me. I just feel like he's trying to pimp her out, take her money, and just do what Stevie J does. Let's just do what Stevie J does. Like, I feel like every time he's in a relationship with a female, you know, and they break up, it's like he always seems to make it seem like these people are this way and this and this. And I just don't feel like he's a good person, yo. I just don't feel like he's a good person at all. And, you know, I feel like after this marriage, Faith Evans should just be single, really just focus on herself, you know, try to invest in, you know, better. I don't know what her finances is looking like, but maybe, you know, get into some new business ventures, you know, start singing more. We could, you know, use a new Faith Evans album. Really just try to get that Stevie J up off of her and move forward. And I just couldn't believe she married Stevie J. Like, he's not the type of guy that you should marry. To me, he's not marriage material. Like, he just seems like he's like a overgrown male teenager. Like, the way that he behaves is like, dude, are you like 45 or 15? The way that he acts towards women is just like disgusting, man. So, you know, that's my personal thoughts though in regards to that. Outside of that, what other topics happened, man? There's been so many different things that has happened. So another thing I forgot to mention was Ben Crump. He's asking for the FBI to look further into the case of Jelani Day. Now, Jelani Day was a medical student who actually, his body was found in the ocean, and his body was completely like dismantled and like ripped apart. Like, he had his jaw missing. There was some eyes missing. It just looked like somebody mangled him and he was murdered and thrown into the water. They found his car on the hill and then he was in the water. And it was just, you know, so heart-wrenching because I reported on that. And, you know, when I heard the report of how his body was like mangled and stuff, I felt like it had to have been an actual murder. But of course, in situations like this, they try to sweep it under the rug and make it seem like it wasn't a big thing. It's just a unknown death. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, please, this ain't making no sense. For him to be found the way that his body was, for him to have body parts missing substantially, the way that he was thought to have, the way that they described his body, I don't even want to say it really on the mic like that because it was that bad. It was like close to the equivalent of Emmett Till, but probably a little worse. And they're trying to make it seem like, oh, it's not a hate crime. No. I'm gonna read some of this because, you know, all the other stuff I can like more so ad-lib, but I want to be more specific with this particular case. All right, so let me just read this to you guys so you can understand what we're going against, people. And this is coming from the Chicago Tribune. Jelani Day, who was last seen alive in Bloomington, Illinois on August 24th, was reported missing the next day by his mother, Carmen Bolden Day. 100 days later, she is still looking for answers and enlisted civil rights attorney Ben Crump to help urge authorities to look further into her son's disappearance and subsequent death. Bolden Day spoke Friday at a news conference along with Crump and several family members, including her other children and Jelani's siblings and other supporters. He stated, "I need the FBI to come in and take over because these local jurisdictions have shown us that they have not made us a priority." Bolden Day said, "They have not made Jelani priority." Day, 25 years old at the time of his death, was identified as the person whose body was found in the Illinois River in LaSalle County in September. The LaSalle County coroner said in October, the Illinois State University graduate died by a drowning. The matter of Day's death is unknown. Bolden Day said on Friday that the coroner has told her that there is no sign of trauma to the body and no indication that Day's body was put in the river. Bolden Day did not say that authorities have explicitly labeled Day's death as a suicide, but she said that she's been told several things by the investigators that says to me, without saying to me, that Jelani did this to himself, and Jelani did not do this to himself. I will never accept that that's what happened to him, she said. Attempts to reach out to Bloomington Police Department, LaSalle County Sheriff's Office, and other agencies involving the investigation on Friday were unsuccessful. Crump said that it was very emotional being at the news conference at Rainbow Push Coalition headquarters. The last time he was in the nonprofit auditorium was nearly 10 years ago for the mother of Trayvon Martin, a 17-year-old African-American high school student who was shot and killed in Florida in 2012. Crump said the group of family members and supporters gathered Friday are demanding the U.S. Attorney General instruct the FBI to investigate Jelani's disappearance and death as a hate crime investigation. He said, "We are very clear on our declaration that this was not a suicide based on the facts such as Day's car, clothes, wallet, cell phone being found away from where his body was, nowhere near where he attended school, and some of the items were found in different areas. Day's car was found August 26th hidden in a wooded area in Peru in LaSalle County." Crump brought up the multi-state and federal resources used in the investigation surrounding Gabby Petito's disappearance, which made national headlines for weeks earlier this year. He said Day's family is losing confidence in local authorities because Day case is not being given nearly the same amount of resources. They didn't make him a priority, but we will make him a priority. We're asking the FBI to make this young black man, Jelani Day, a priority, just like they made this young white woman, Gabby Petito, a priority. Bolden Day recalled seeing Petito's news coverage on TV and remember hearing that her parents hadn't spoken with their daughter in 2 weeks and then began to worry. Bolden Day said she empathized with those parents because she knew what it felt like to be missing your child. But she knew something was wrong after not speaking with her son after one day. After more than 3 months, she said she hopes that the other agencies she wants the same attention from will hear her and get her some answers. "I'm asking you," she said, "I'm imploring you, I'm begging you, I need to know what happened to my son." Okay, so, it's just unfortunate what happened to Jelani Day. And like I said, rumor had it that his body parts were not properly together. He said that certain parts of his body were ripped and mangled and all types of things. And I just feel like it's time for them to do a full-out investigation because something is wrong. Something is terribly, terribly wrong with this boy's death. And it just sounds like a homicide, not a suicide to me. But you guys share your thoughts on this situation below. Or whether it's on Apple, Spotify, wherever you're listening, share your thoughts on this. I feel like it was a homicide. Do you guys feel like it was a homicide? Comment below. Maybe I'm tripping. So there's so many other things that I also want to discuss. I just went through all those celebrity hot topics, but I want to talk about just more regular people topics, right? And just talk about how hard it is to build a brand when you're working and doing the type of work that I'm doing, which is podcasting and things of that nature and working on social media and stuff like that. And there's a few things that I just was just so frustrated about. One being YouTube's algorithm. I noticed that a lot of my listeners weren't being notified when I would upload videos recently. And I just been trying to figure out what is the tea? Why is it not, no one's being notified when I get the videos up? I don't know. But I made a decision to, not fully prioritize YouTube as much. And the reason why I chose to not do that is because I noticed that they weren't prioritizing me as much and make sure that my supporters were being notified when my videos and stuff came out and things of that nature. Now, I'm still going to upload because it's money. I'm not going to just throw away free money. However, I am reevaluating some things and I'm going to test some things out based off of my personal research to see if my algorithm gets better with these things that I'm doing. And if it doesn't, I'm just about to really just make sure I continue to focus on building on other platforms. And this is why it's so important, for the people that's on Apple Podcasts watching me or listening to me or on Spotify listening to my podcast or wherever listening to this podcast, that it's important that you guys put the effort into sharing my podcast and subscribing on Apple and Spotify to help get the numbers up on those other platforms, because sometimes I can't really depend 100% on YouTube because of how the algorithm is. It's real tricky. It's weird. I want people to subscribe. Don't get it twisted. But it just seems as if it's so dull right now. And I'm hoping that eventually I can break this algorithm and all of a sudden my subs just skyrocket to the sky. That's what I'm trying to work on right now because, of course, I'm putting together this 2-hour pod. And then I still have my news briefs and stuff. I'm trying to build a brand. And sometimes it's frustrating when you're trying to build a brand because there's always some type of hick in a way, something in a way, like trying to block you from accomplishing what you want to accomplish. But I'm not going to give up on the DJ Jericho podcast. I want to talk about something positive before I get back to my thoughts in regards to just building, period. But I had researched my YouTube channel to see how many people actually channeled and how many views came in since I've been on YouTube for the past 2 years. And it said 740,000. That's 740,000. That's literally 300,000 views away from 1 million people watching my channel. And, that's some internal information because some of those videos I actually had to take down, stuff like that. But viewership wise, at least 740,000 people have been on my YouTube channel. And if you go on YouTube, it'll say 300,000, but that's basically correlating just the numbers for videos that I kept on my channel. I took a huge amount of videos down just trying to revamp because at one point YouTube demonetized me without any probable cause. And that's when I started to take down like videos where I'm featuring other people's videos and stuff like that just to protect my brand because I woke up and then my account was demonetized and stuff like that. And sometimes here and there, I might add a little bit of video here and there, but it's very here and there. So if they do flag it, it's not going to affect my channel to the point where they're like, oh, we just going to demonetize it or something like that. Like, I like to make sure that it's like pretty much 100% my voice to protect it and to protect the brand and what I'm trying to build or whatever. It's just things that I noticed, like just being on YouTube. It's like, you just got to be careful, like who you like. You just got to be careful what you feature on there because really, I just feel like sometimes with this particular platform, their main goal is to basically not pay you, even though they're supposed to pay you. Like it's tricky. It's real tricky, but I'm working on everything to try to make it so this algorithm is working for me. But I really need you guys to help me out. And the way that you guys can help me out is by sharing these videos. Like every time I produce a new video and put it out on YouTube, or even like if you're on a podcast, more than likely you're going to be hearing this as an audio podcast because I'm working on other videos because I do breaking news briefs and stuff like that too to help build my channel. But, I'm learning my algorithm and I'm trying to figure out how can I make this channel work for me? How can I make it so this podcast work for me and my people are able to listen to me and everything else? But I'm learning, you guys. I'm learning and growing. Just as you guys are watching me, I'm learning and growing and I'm starting to understand this whole algorithm situation. So all I need from y'all is to share. If you guys see my podcast, share, leave a comment, interact, because when you interact, it makes it so more people can see the videos that I'm putting out there, and it'll make it so more people come into this platform. It's very hard to build a platform, especially when you're a Black YouTuber. It's like the Black YouTube section is so small, and it's just like we have automatically just cut out a huge portion of audience members for the most part because we're talking specifically about entertainment, urban culture. You know what I mean? It's not like, we're talking about like world news. Now, I plan on, I'm just pre-warning y'all that I will start incorporating more world news stories because I feel like that stuff is still important as well. However, of course, my main platform is based off of the things that's going on in the celebrity world and things of that nature. But I will be incorporating more things that's happening around in the world to this podcast and picking topics to discuss on my show and organizing it that way. So it's not just me talking about what the celebrity did, this celebrity did and stuff like that, because I feel like there's certain things that you guys need to know about. I did actually do a podcast about like a serial killer running around in Memphis. They actually caught that guy. I don't know if I said that. I was out when they found, I wasn't on air because I had took a break from social media and just podcasting in general for like a month. But they actually caught that man while I was off air, and I didn't even get to really talk about that. But the guy that was sniping and shooting a bunch of Black women, they actually caught and arrested him, thank God. But it's other stuff that be going on, especially in the Black community, with Black women and Black men, and just like, just the world, like just us as a world, not just about race, but this is the world that happens with these crazy people out here. And I just be wanting to expound off that and expand my audience and talk about more significant things outside of what these stupid celebrities are doing. Not saying that all they're not say stupid celebrities, but you know what these celebrities are doing. I'm not trying to say people are stupid, but people do stupid stuff, and these celebrities be always doing stupid stuff. You know, like speaking of stupid stuff, so Erica Mena from Love and Hip Hop. How did I forget this story? Because I forgot to even mention this story, but Erica Mena from Love and Hip Hop was like all over the shade room because she stepped out and apologized to a woman who she accused of stealing from her and robbing her for her jewelry, and basically put this girl on Instagram on blast saying that this woman was wearing her jewelry. Come to find out that she found out through whatever resources she used, that lady didn't steal anything from her. And she defamed this woman's name, called her a thief and everything else for absolutely no reason. She went on Instagram and made a post basically apologizing. Now, I'm going to read some of this apology, but see, the thing that bothered me about Erica Mena's apology with this woman is the fact that she wrote the apology so small. You know, I was sitting there looking at it like, I can't even read this crap. Like, you got to literally, like you got to take your hand and just like flip the phone and just like scroll tightly in order for you to see. You can't read it on Instagram. I had to download the picture and flip it. And I have 20/20 vision. I've never needed glasses. I get my eyes checked and they are top tier. And this was so small that I could barely see it. Now, if it's that small that I can barely see it, I have 20/20 vision. Like, I know most of the people that was on there couldn't read what was being said, but this is what her apology said. Last May, and this is her she accused Christy Mohan of stealing from her. Okay? So this is what was said. I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to share my thoughts on it because I just have a strong opinion, and I divulge and I dissect deeper than most people. Like, most people probably read this saying, oh, okay, well, she felt bad and now she's writing this. She's just trying to right her wrongs, but I'm looking at the way that this apology was presented, and how it was presented and how it was made for people to read it and how small it was. So it says, last May, after our home was burglarized and some of my property stolen, I was informed by a number of sources that an individual named Christy Mohan had been seen in possession of my stolen property under circumstances that suggest she knew it was stolen, and I post statements to that effect on my Instagram account. I have since learned that the information I received about Ms. Mohan was not accurate. And so I now wish to take this opportunity to retract my earlier assertions concerning Ms. Mohan. To be clear, I no longer have any reason to believe that Christy Mohan was ever in possession of my property she knew to be stolen from me, or that she had anything to do directly or indirectly with the robbery of our home. I apologize to Mrs. Mohan. So this is what she wrote. Now, the writing, like I said, if you look at the text of this apology letter, it's so small. It's so small. And it's like, I was just dissecting it like, maybe Erica Mena, when she wrote this, she didn't really want people to see it, but she had no choice but to write it because maybe she don't want to get sued. But to me, I feel like it's too late to, like, she definitely gonna get sued. And the lady basically replied back. They basically replied back and said that, she does not have anything to say to Erica Mena about the situation, and that basically contact her lawyer. She left her phone number at her lawyer at the bottom of the post, honey, and then was like, you could contact them, whatever. So I feel like Erica Mena may have a lawsuit on her hands in regards to defamation of character because you really defamed that woman's name. You made people think that she was a thief without properly checking your sources and resources that was giving you this information. And this happened over a year ago. So a lot of things could affect this woman's brand. This woman looks to be a businesswoman. She has her own businesses that she's opening and stuff like that. And that defamed her name. And I'm glad that she came out and Erica Mena decided to woman up and say, look, I was wrong. But at the same time, it's like, a whole year you just realized that she didn't steal from you. Like, this is why it's important you don't have to post everything on social media. Like, if you're going through some stuff, make sure that the information is correct before you go making public service announcements all over the internet talking about somebody stole from you and took this and took that. And you don't even know for sure. I get that you probably was emotional because somebody really robbed you and took your stuff from you in Safari. But at the same time, you want to make sure like 1000% sure that the person who did it, you know, I mean, of course, you are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, but you want to make sure that if you are going to say that there is a 99.1% chance, you know, that you're right, and only a 1% chance that you're wrong, possibly. You get what I mean? She went on social media, embarrassed this lady, put on social media, put pictures of her on her Instagram, basically saying that she was a thief and that she stole from me, and called her out, just like knowing she knew for facts that this woman did this. And now she's out here looking crazy. Now I'm going to read this post that she put up. And I believe this is back in last year or so, like 2019, 2020, somewhere around there. She says, so this stripper, Chrissy Mohan, is now allegedly wearing my jewelry and has all my purses. She has involvement with one of the robberies, one being Charlie Famous. Girl, be smart and give up all my belongings. If anyone knows her, please contact me. I got cash reward on her as well. $10,000 in cash to anyone who can lead to the arrest of this woman as well. So she put her on social media and basically blasted her and was like, oh, I know for a fact this is the girl that did it. And like, you putting out reward money, you embarrassing her. And of course, I'm pretty sure that Erica Mena has like a bigger audience because she's been on like reality TV for like 15 something years. Like, she has, you know, been on Love and Hip Hop forever and 10. So she got millions of supporters and followers that's looking at this and probably going to this woman's page is like, yo, blasting her, harassing her, causing her distress and mayhem. And she didn't even do it. Like, Erica, come on. I'm just so tired of Erica Mena. Like, every time I look in the news, there's always like some messy stuff going on between her, Safari, just dumb stuff. Like, I don't even watch Love and Hip Hop no more, but it's like, I'm tired of her. Like, I mean, I ain't watched Love and Hip Hop in like, I can't even remember the last time I watched Love and Hip Hop. Probably like 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago. I stopped watching it. It just got played to me. It just got real boring. Like, you outgrow stuff like that if you consistently watching it. You're just like, whatever. I stopped watching that a long time ago, but hopefully she don't sue you for that much, because I know that lady's going to sue you because you gave out false information. You defamed her name, and it wasn't a fact, you know? That's why you always want to say allegedly, or just not post at all. You should have, if she was going to, I feel like if Erica Mena was going to put a post up about somebody stealing from her, she should have put a post like, hey, I allegedly found out that this person who shall remain nameless stole from me, but I'll keep you guys updated. If you guys know who you think may have been or whatever, here's $10,000. But don't specifically tag a person, put their picture on your Instagram to millions of people so they can interpret that she's a thief and she's this, and that's not a fact. You know what I mean? So now Erica got to sit there and like basically hold her L. She got a little bit of egg on her face because she basically done told the wrong information. Yo, like, no, it's a no for me, baby. It's a no for me. So in other news, Alicia Keys finally spoke out on the infamous night that she performed New York, was it New York Empire with Jay-Z, and they performed at the MTV Awards in 2009. And Lil Mama jumped on the stage and crashed the stage. And Noriega, he asked her on Drink Champs, like, how did she feel, you know, when that happened? Like, what was she thinking? Like, you know, to see Lil Mama just pop on the stage and crash the stage. And Alicia Keys basically said that she was like so concentrated on killing her performance that she didn't even notice that Little Mama had even jumped on there. She said that she was happy performing and she was focused on killing it and everything else. She was just doing what she was doing, and she got off the stage and had so much adrenaline. And then Jay-Z was like, did you not see that? And she's like, see what? I seen that we killed it. And she didn't know that Little Mama jumped on the stage, and she was just laughing about it. But, you know, it was funny. It was pretty serious back in 2009 when she crashed the stage. Jay-Z was right at the top of his career. Of course, Alicia Keys was still at the height of her career. And for her to come out like that, it was just like, what? Like, you know, but people try to make it seem like it's like one big scandal. It's like, okay, the girl jumped on the damn stage. It's like her career never recovered from that. Like, it's just like she never was able to get her brand back in order, all because she jumped on stage next to Jay-Z. I'm just like, come on. Like, it's about time we allow Little Mama to get her career in order. I mean, she's been doing her own thing, but I just feel like her career never really took off. And that was like literally the straw that broke the camel's back, or the nail in the coffin, the final nail in the coffin that made it so it's like, it's a wrap. Like, it's a wrap. But y'all, it's just interesting to know what Alicia Keys thought about that, because It took so long. Like, how long ago was that? It's about to be 2022. It took her 13 years, basically, to come out and finally talk about that situation. 12, 13 years. Like, that happened so long ago, y'all. I was still a kid when that happened, okay? But yeah, that's so funny to hear her thoughts. It would be nice to actually hear Jay-Z's thoughts, but Jay-Z's not that type of guy. He don't really do, like, I mean, he does do interviews, but I don't think he's going to really talk about that situation. Has he talked about the situation? I don't recall that. But anyways, back to the brand. I'm going back to my brand or whatever, grinding. But listen, y'all, I'm trying to build something. I'm trying to build this platform. I mean, I want to say thank you guys because, like I said before, between two platforms, I've hit over 1 million listens of my podcast. I started to build my brand, and I'm very happy. 740,000 people has listened to my podcast worldwide since it's premiered 2 years ago, and now I'm on other platforms, and it's equated to 300,000 listens on those platforms. So that's over 1 million people or 1 million views out here. So I appreciate you guys for listening to my pod. I'm working very hard and trying to expand on additional markets. So if you guys can help a sister out, if you guys are on wherever you're listening, do me a favor and make sure you listen to me on the apps. Make sure you're following on the apps on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, because I'm trying to build something here. If you guys are on YouTube listening, I don't know if I'm going to put this for audio on YouTube. It's just such a tedious process. I hate editing, y'all. Did I ever tell y'all I hate editing? Like, I love talking shit, but I hate editing. It's like such the longest process. The longer I talk, the more editing I'm going to do. So I'm probably about to wrap this podcast up. I know it sounds lazy, but it's like 3 a.m. I'm recording this. But yeah, it's a long, tedious process. The editing part is but I need y'all to support me just by hitting that sub button, hitting the like button, notification bell. I'm going to be back very soon with some hot topics. I finally bought some new equipment. Like I said in the beginning of the show, y'all, I was stressed out. I couldn't do no type of podcast. I couldn't talk. I couldn't do anything. Well, I was using my phone to do the videos, and they came out pretty high quality, you know. They were doing something. They were doing it well. However, I would like to keep dropping my long extended podcast where I'm talking to everybody because that's what I'm used to. So I'm in hyper mode when it comes to production. It's like, 2-hour podcast, and then news briefs, and it's like, you know. But I'm gonna be shaking and baking and moving some things around. And besides that, I'm going to try to test some things out on this channel to see if I can start getting some new people in here to listen to my pod. Outside of that, I just want to thank you guys for listening and sticking with me. It's been a very, 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 very long month. Last month was a long month. And I'm hoping that December, entering the new year, is good news, positivity, you know, in progression. That's all I want. That's it. The simple things. The simple things in life. Progression, y'all. Outside of that, I'm about to hop off of here. Y'all take care of yourself. Follow me on social media at the DJJAYERICA podcast, at DJJAYERICA. Share this podcast. Keep playing it. Keep playing it and sharing it. You know, I'm trying to get my streams through the roof. I appreciate y'all. And I'll catch you guys on the next pod. I'm not sure when I'm coming back on here, you guys. This is my first time back since October. At least. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I had life, you know? It's life. I'm human. I'm going through life. All right, y'all. See you soon. Have a good one. Much love. Peace.